Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It is so good to see all of you. It's so good to see all of you, whether you're in the room or on the Zoom. You've come to the right place, and we are grateful that you are here to celebrate Shabbat with us and also celebrate our good friend Lillian Olin becoming Bat Mitzvah. Like I keep promising her, by 12:30 tomorrow, you're all set. So, but in the meantime, you're going to do some amazing stuff with us, and we're going to learn some great Torah from you tomorrow, and we're going to have a good time singing here, I hope, tonight. We've got a lot of music in this community, and I hope that that's something that helps you out spiritually. You know, it helps out even more if you join us. So, if at any point you feel like singing along, whether you know the tune, kind of know the tune, if you catch the rhythm, we have these percussive instruments called pews. They're made out of a very resonant wood, so you can tap along with us or on your prayer book. We'll be calling page numbers out of this little blue book. If you need large print, we have big blue books in the back. We also have transliterations in the softcover blue book. So check that out if it helps you with your prayer. So we're going to get started in just a moment. What do we usually do first? It's been a while.
Well, I wanted to say that I'm really happy we're back to you and I here. That it's been a long week, and
and then some.
And we usually start by welcoming the angels with Shalom Aleichem.
Okay, we'll do that in just a second. First, but you remind me. I want to think that I think I saw. I don't know if I saw Jill here a second. Is that no? It was, maybe I just dreamed it. I just want to thank Jill Goldwright and Rabbi Josh Grader, who stepped in and stepped up last week to lead this community in our convalescence. And also thank you to all of you who have been super duper nice while we have been getting our voices back. So with that, I think it's a fine idea to welcome in those angels who join us for Shabbat, who escort us through this holy time, and then bless us and we see them on their way. We're going to do that with Shalom Aleichem, which is on page 13. Page 13.
Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Yasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'achem Shalom. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Yasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And once more together. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Yasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Even as we raise our voices in song, we also increase the light in this space as the sun is going down outside. And we do that by lighting the Shabbat candles and saying a blessing. And a couple of very special people are going to help us out with that. And it's going to be Dahlia and Owen. Dahlia and Owen Olin are going to help us out with the Shabbat candle blessings.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddusham b'mitzvotav v'tifanu l'chag nigner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Kol hakavod. Well done. Thank you very much for illuminating this evening. And so with that, we're going to begin to ascend toward Shabbat. We do this by means of a sulam, or a ladder, like what reached into heaven in Jacob's dream. And the sulam, the ladder that we have, are songs. These are psalms of King David. They are some more recent psalms as well. It's all right. It's going to be okay. And so the first psalm that we're going to take a look at is L'chuna Rananan, page 15. Page 15.
L'chuna Rananan l'Adonai nariya letzur yisheinu nekadma fanav v'toda bizmirat nariya lo ki el gadol Adonai melech gadol al kol Elohim Hashem. ואנחנו נגיד. 40 שנה אקוד ודור ואומר עמדו אל לבבם והם לא ידעו דרכי אשר נשבעתי ואפי אם יבואון אל מנוחתי.
Page 16.
יאיר אלוהי 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 יאיר אלוהי 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 בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו ספרו בגויים כבודו בכל העמים נפלאותיו כי גדול אדוני אולי מאוד נורא הוא על כל אלוהים יאיר אלוהי
move from the Psalms of David to the Kabbalists of Sfat, and they believed about 500 years ago or so that Shabbat deserved a special welcome, not just jumping right into evening prayers, but warming up a little bit and envisioning that when Shabbat approaches, it is like the approach of royalty, like a queen visiting, or the way people honor one's beloved walking down the aisle. And when people walk down the aisle and everybody stands up, that we mimic that behavior as well at the end of this song. And the song is called Come My Beloved, or Lecha Dodi. And we're going to start on page 22, page 22.
Lecha Dodi לקראת קלה פני שבת לקבלה Lecha Dodi לקראת קלה פני שבת לקבלה לא תבושי ולא תקרבי מה תשתוכחי ומה תמי בך יחסו עניי ימי ונבנתה עיר על תילה Lecha Dodi לקראת קלה פני שבת לקבלה Lecha Dodi לקראת קלה פני שבת לקבלה והיו למשיסה שוסייך ורחקו כל מבלעיר יסיס עלייך אלוהייך כבשוס חתן על כלה Lecha Dodi לקראת קלה פני שבת לקבלה Lecha Dodi לקראת קלה פני שבת לקבלה ימין ושמאל תפרוצי ואת אדוני תריצי על יריש בן פצי ונשמחה ונגילה Lecha Dodi לקראת קלה פני שבת לקבלה Lecha Dodi לקראת קלה פני שבת לקבלה בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה וצולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה Lecha Dodi לקראת קלה פני שבת לקבלה Lecha Dodi לקראת קלה פני שבת לקבלה Lecha Dodi השבת נקבלה.
You may be seated. For our final prayer of this part of the service, we turn to page 23 for a psalm for Shabbat, and I would like to call up Rebecca Gebhardt, who has the honor of leading us in that psalm. Page 23. And just for everybody's preparedness, this is what we call a responsive reading. You can see there's sort of an A part and a B part in the italics, and so Rebecca is going to lead us, and then we're going to take turns.
It is good to acclaim Adonai, to sing your praise, exalted God.
To affirm your love each morning and your faithfulness each night, to the music of the lute and the melody of the harp.
Your works, Adonai, make me glad. I sing with joy of your creation.
How vast your works, Adonai, your designs are beyond our grasp.
The thoughtless cannot comprehend, the foolish cannot fathom this.
The wicked may flourish, springing up like grass, but their doom is sealed, for you are supreme forever.
Your enemies, Adonai, your enemies shall perish, all the wicked shall crumble.
But me you have greatly exalted. I am anointed with fragrant oil. I have seen the downfall of my foes. I have heard the despair of my attackers.
The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. They shall grow tall like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they will thrive in the courts of our God.
They shall bear fruit even in old age. They shall be ever fresh and fragrant, to proclaim, Adonai is just, my rock, in whom there is no flaw. Abode, well done. So if you look on the facing page 23, we've got a song about it.
We do. Let's join together, מזמור שיר ליום השבת. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי גיון וכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שיבחתני אדוני ופועלך, ומעשה ידיך, ומעשה ידיך ארנן. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. יא אלי 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 אלי, יא אלי 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 אלי, יא אלי אלי אלי. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך
Well, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Once again, and a brand new Shabbat Shalom if you just got here. We're so delighted to have you celebrate this Shabbat with us and also celebrate this wonderful Simcha with the Olin family. I forgot, are you giving the Devar Torah tonight or tomorrow? Tomorrow? Okay, I'll do it tonight. And I'm just excited because she's got a very wonderful Devar Torah tomorrow that really speaks to my heart and one of the driving forces of human behavior and Jewish ethics. But I don't want to spoil it. Tonight, I just want to share with you an insight that I found thanks to a 16th century Venetian rabbi who looks at this parsha and notices really about human behavior, that often when we're in a disagreement with someone, it's tempting, for the sake of peace, to settle for the middle ground. And that peace may give us a brief reprieve. However, it is more productive and more lasting for these two counterparties to disagreement to find higher ground together. But first, I just want to gloat for a little bit, because I feel like in some ways I've arrived. See, early on in a rabbi's career, we tend to tell a lot of stories about funny things that happened when we were in rabbinical school. At some point, we've been rabbis long enough that we tell funny stories about when we were younger rabbis. And so here's a funny story about when I was a younger rabbi. I feel like I've arrived, because I look at this and I'm reminded of a time that I just started at my very first synagogue. Wonderful place in Burbank. That's the place that taught me, I think, how to be a rabbi over time. But when I got there, I knew nothing. I thought I knew a lot. I thought I knew how to look at the law, settle disputes in a way that was just for everyone. And one of their first questions was, well, and there'd been sort of a gap. There hadn't been a rabbi there for a while. And so they said things like, so when are we going to have Friday night services? And I said, well, when do you want to have Friday night services? And one group of people, the families in this thriving preschool, who love to come straight from preschool pickup time, go right into Tat Shabbat, they said, we love to have Friday night services at 5:30. Because we're just getting back from work, we can pick up our kids, we can have a little Shabbat service, and then we can go home and everybody gets fed by bedtime. And so it's, okay, well, maybe they should be at 5:30. Let me ask the Lunch and Learn crowd. And I go to the Lunch and Learn crowd, and I walk in the room, and the average age goes down by about 20 years. And so I've often said, I used to think rabbis were wise because we study a lot of Torah. Now I know rabbis are wise because we get to hang out with a lot of 90-year-olds. Not to brag. But this group of people who've been founders of the temple, members for decades, they knew the traditions. And they said, Rabbi, we like to have services at 7:30 because we like to have time to get home, let go of the schmutz of the work week, have dinner with our families, and then we come for Kabbalat Shabbat services. So I said, one group wants to have services at 5:30, one group wants to have services at 7:30. I got it. we're going to have services at 6:30. Makes sense, right? And that's when I learned that compromise sometimes means that no one is happy. And Sforno, I should say which Sforno. There was a big family of Italian, well, not Italian, and there wasn't Italy until about 1850, but Venetian scholars. And I believe it was Ovadia ben Yosef Sforno, who was a prolific commentator on the Torah and often appears right beside Rashi in his commentaries. And Sforno takes a look at the beginning of our Parsha that says, Re'eh, see, this day before you I set a blessing and a curse. A blessing if you obey commandments of the Lord your God. Curse if you do not obey the commandments. And he says, what is this see? I mean, the see, often we're encouraged to listen. We have the Shema, or Ha'azinu, that's coming up. Give me your ears. But it's less common for the Torah to enjoin us to see, to look around. And it seems like when we listen, it's because something's being directed at us, right? Listen to this. Give ear to me. But when we're told to see, that's more of a passive thing. That's more of an embracing of how the world is. Look around you and notice. And Sforno says that what this Re'eh is saying is look around at the other nations. Look around at the other people who are your contemporaries. Look around at the other people trying to figure out how to have a just society. And notice why they're failing. Because in Sforno's view, these other groups of people, these other clusters of commitment to a particular ethic, often fell into the trap of settling for the middle ground to achieve an easy peace. If you can't decide between this hand and this hand, go for the middle and call it a day. But Sforno says we're not like that, right? Because right here, what are we seeing? We're seeing that God has put before us a blessing and a curse. Two things that could not be more opposite. One is abundance greater than your needs. One is a deficit far below your needs. And you don't have to create that blessing any more than you have to create that curse. Those are in front of you. All you have to do is choose. And sometimes, might be hard-pressed to answer the question, is it harder to create blessings or curses? Or is it harder to make a decision, cutting off all other paths? And so Sforno is telling us that the Torah is telling us that we have to pay attention to what we really need. And we have to pay attention to what someone else really needs. But we don't do what he says the nations do and take this path half-heartedly, settle for half measures or half a loaf. But hold on to what we need. And trust that the other person is holding on too. And move toward higher ground together. Now, a word of caution. Because one could read this and say, well, maybe Sforno, and by turn the Torah, is advocating for extremism. Don't take the middle path. Don't compromise. Don't get into dialogue. But hold fast to your side of the road no matter what. I can't believe that this is what the Torah is teaching us. I don't think this means we need to be extremists. I think the Torah is telling us not to be lazy in settling for the middle ground, not to settle for the easy peace, but rather do the hard work of finding common ground. Cheap compromise may offer a moment of cheap grace, a flashing moment of resentful reprieve. But the Torah is telling us here, look around and see the folly of this path. Choose instead to engage with those with whom you disagree and see if you cannot find higher ground together. Shabbat Shalom, and thank you for joining us here at PJTC. We are going to enter our Mariv evening prayers, beginning with the Barhu. It's a call to blessing. We invite you all to rise in all the ways that you're able. We're going to be on page 28, page 28.
Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai le'olam.
ומעביר יום ומעביר לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני,
Baruch Shemo.
המעריב הרבים.
Amen. You may be seated, and we move from blessing God for illuminating our lives to blessing God for the constancy of God's love. Ahavat Olam on page 29, page 29.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו ושוכבנו, ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה, נהגה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך לתסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו
Amen. If you'll join us on page 30 as Lillian leads us in the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, וחיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושינתם לבניך ודיברת בם ושינתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשכלך וקומך וקשרתם לאו על ידיך וחיו לטוטפו בין עיניך ופשרתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך.
And continue at your own pace in the middle of page 30, and we'll all get together in just a moment. I am Shemot. We join together at the top of page 31. Page 31. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor daber el bnei Yisrael v'amarta alehem v'asu lehem tzitzit al kanfei vigdehem ledorotam v'natnu al tzitzit hakanaf patir techelet v'haya lechem letzitzit uritem oto Uzkartem et kol mitzvot Adonai vasitem otam velo taturu acharei levavchem ve'acharei nechem asher tem zonim acharechem leman tizkeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kedoshim lelochechem ani Adonai Elochechem אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני
אדוני אלוהיכם
אדוני אלוהיכם אמת ומלכות. We turn to page 32. We bless God for illuminating our lives and for the constancy of God's love. Now we bless God as a Redeemer, hearing us and answering us when we call. Page 32.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר וקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקר היום לפני משה ומרים. זה לי אנו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כיבד אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך שמו
גאל ישראל.
Amen. So we turn together to page 33. I'd like to invite Karen up, who's going to lead us in the Hashkivenu on page 33 on the left-hand side. Excuse me, Karen and Owen are coming up.
Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace and awaken us again, our sovereign to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, or sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praised are you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all his people Israel, and over Jerusalem.
Amen.
Amen. Kol hakavod, well done. Such a beautiful prayer. We're going to sing it too. It's on page 33 on the other side.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ושמור את צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. שלום 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 שלום. ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך שמו.
הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ועל ירושלים.
Amen. We continue with a call to protect the peace of Shabbat on page 34. Page 34.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. לדורותם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שפט וינפש, שפט וינפש, שפט וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שם רבה,
אמן.
בעלמא דברך קיוטה וימליך מלכותה, וחייכון וביום נכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגדה בגדה, ובזמן קריב וימרו,
אמן.
יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה.
יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה
בריחו.
לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעולמה וימרו.
Amen. On page 35b, we rise in all the ways you're able for the Amidah for Shabbat evening. This is a silent or private Amidah, so take time to pray the prayer of your heart. If you're following along with the words on the page, notice that there's a special edition for Rosh Chodesh, which just began. So pray the prayer of your heart, and we'll all get back together in just a little while.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי וגואלי אמן. עושה שלום שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל אמן אמן. עושה שלום שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. ועל כל יושבי תבל
We conclude the Amidah with the Kaddish Shalem on page 48. Page 48.
יתגדל ויתקדש שם מרפא
אמן.
בעלמא דברך חריותו וימליך מלכותו וחייכונו וימכונו וחי לכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב וימרו. יש מרבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקודשה לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמת אדם ירם בעלמא ואמרו
אמן.
תתקבל צלות ולבבתון לכל ישראל קודמה ובון דמשמיא ואמרו
אמן.
יהי שלום רמי שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו
אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל וימרו
Amen. I ask you to rise as we begin to end our service with Aleinu on page 51. But before we start that, I need to call up some very special ark openers. We're going to see Dahlia and Owen up here again, as well as Rebecca and Adam.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
שהולך תשמע ויוסר הארץ ומה שביקר בשמיים.
על כן נקבל לך אדוני אלוהים דולות מרב תפארת וזכר. כי המלכות שלך היא, ולעולמי תמלוך בכבוד. ככתוב את תורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד.
Please remain standing as the ark is closing. The ark is closed. You may be seated. Oops. It's making full use of the space. Before we conclude our service, it's appropriate to pause to remember with honor those who are no longer with us. Here at PJTC this week, we are marking the yahrzeit, and that is the anniversaries of the passing of the following people: Ruth Ackerman, Lily Goodman Baker, Frank Bellino, Leah Borenkraut, Israel Borenkraut, Donald Haight, Leo Chesson, Ruth Glick Cohen, Brenna Davidson, Charlotte Tobias Eben, Zelda Fain, Radu Fantescu, Brucha Freeman, Leisure Freeman, Zygmunt Goldberg, David Groman, Jaime Hacker, Rulene Hockman, Zoltan Jung, Evelyn Kaplan, Jenny Katzman, Merle Lynn Kleckner, Max Kramers, Max Crickman, Barry Joel Kussner, Seymour Solomon Lambert, Mary Landau, Saul Landau, Francis Martin, Jack Neinberg, Tony Ness, Robert Newman, Miriam Orloff, Max Rabiner, Stanley Regelson, Gloria Rosenthal, Dora Rosenzweig, Susan Schwartz, Rachel Shemesh, Betty Slifkin, Marvin Stein, Julius Walter, Anna Weisfeld, and Barrick Winter. If there's another name that you'd like to lift up in honor, I encourage you to hold that name in your heart or say it out loud wherever you are. And if anyone is currently in mourning or observing a yahrzeit, you're invited to rise as we all say the Kaddish Tone, the Mourner's Kaddish, together. We're on page 52. Let's pray together. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ba'alma divra kirute v'yamlich malchute b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevorach le'olam le'olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal Shmei dekudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Amen. Now, before we conclude, as we began, and that's in beautiful song, I think preemptively I'm going to invite the family up for Kiddush. Do you think now's a good time for that? Am I missing something?
Yeah,
Oh, how did I forget that? Oh, thank you. We're a good team. So before we conclude the service, I almost forgot there's so many good things that are happening right now, usually involving gifts, and so Lillian, I'll invite you up here to accept your gifts graciously. And we have presentations on behalf of our USY Youth Group, our Sisterhood, and our Men's Club, starting with a presentation from the USY given by Ellie Mendel, who is on Zoom. Zoom.
We do know she's on Zoom. We just,
There she is.
there she is.
Let's see her. Let's make sure she can unmute. It's been a long summer.
Hi, Livy. I'm Ellie, and I'm here tonight to speak on behalf of the USY board. First, I would like to say Mazel Tov. You did an incredible job tonight, and I just can't wait to see you even better tomorrow. As a teacher's assistant for your key design class, I personally know how hard you've worked for this moment. I remember how dedicated you were to learning Hebrew and how compassionate you were to your fellow classmates. So now I am super proud to present to you with your very own B'Kol Echad. A B'Kol Echad is a songbook used at regional USY events during both Ruach and Sloach. Ruach is more energetic and free-spirited, whereas Sloach is more calm and reflective. Now, I know this isn't quite the same as your 70s and 80s music that you usually rock out to, but I promise you're still going to enjoy it. Yeah, I can't wait to see you at future USY events, including our Tea Party event on September 11th. And again, Mazel Tov and good luck tomorrow.
Correct. Thank you, Ellie. And now
So
I
the
would
two
like
of-
to
the
invite
two of
up
us are in person.
Sandra Dreschner, not too far, who is going to make a presentation on behalf of PJTC's Wonderful Sisterhood.
Mazal Tov, Lillian. So, it's my honor, on behalf of this PJTC Sisterhood, I would like to present you with your own Kiddush cup. I know that you will proudly sing the blessings each week with your family on Shabbat. You have this terrific raspy singing voice, which is perfect as you adore rock and roll, and your own cool vintage rock clothes that you always look so amazing in when you add your own style to them. You are personable, kind, and possess a heart of gold, and you are embracing and loving to everyone in all walks of life. It has been a true honor and privilege to teach you Hebrew and tutor you for your bat mitzvah. I'll miss you.
Kol hakavod. And last but certainly not least, I'd like to invite up Sean Surface, who will be making a presentation on behalf of our men's club.
Hi. Just give me 1 sec. Hi, Lillian. My name is Sean. And I know that because I have a yarmulke from the men's club and my name is written inside of it. My wife made sure that I wouldn't forget who I was. Okay. So, as I said, I'm a member of and the director on the men's club, and the men's club is very proud of how well you've done today, and it really demonstrates your level of perseverance and due diligence to get through all this bar mitzvah stuff. Mitzvah stuff. The men's club is here as a support to our youth programs and temple events alongside of our sisterhood. I really feel like Detroit Rock City should be playing behind me right now, don't you? You know, come on, guys. We need the background music.
Maybe next week.
Okay. Today I'm presenting you with the yod. You've seen the yod before. You know what it's used for. It's so that we don't touch the Torah and don't smear the ink on the pages. But I like to think of the yod in another way also. The yod is there to support your hand, and it's also there. It's not something you're going to use every day, you know. So when you look at it, I wanted to remind you of the support of the people that have come today, will come tomorrow, all the people that have been supporting you through your education. That's what that yod is about. It's about remembering support. One of the things that you did was you filled out a questionnaire about different things that you like, because we haven't met, and I'm sorry that we haven't met, but when you walked in, I said, what was the first thing I said? I said, oh, very Kiss appropriate. She really likes Kiss, if you don't know. And besides acknowledging you for the fantastic taste in music that you have, you know that yesterday was Gene Simmons' birthday, right? so he couldn't be here today, but he sent a representative. You have to be able to see it. So this is from Gene. Before I ever knew what the word entrepreneur was, I realized in America and in the Western part of the world in general, that you're given the opportunity to be whatever you want to be. And that is all anyone should ever expect from this system. The rest is up to you. It's up to you to educate yourself. It's up to you to learn speaking skills and people skills. It's up to you to try and usually fail, but to try again, all sorts of ventures. The rest is a combination of hard work, being at the right place at the right time with the right thing. And oh yes, more never-ending hard work. That's from Gene. What you're doing today and what you're doing tomorrow demonstrates your dedication to this never-ending hard work. So Yashikoa, Mazel Tov, Lillian, and enjoy. And here is your yacht.
Yashikoa. So Matt, sometime after the holidays, a Don alum to Detroit Rock City. Is it 4-4? We'll figure it out. So speaking of singing, I'm going to ask everyone to rise as we sing our way out of here with Salam. And then after we finish that song, I'll invite the family to come up to make Kiddush.
Let's join together. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. סלאם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלאם שלום. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Shalom, shalom. Oy, 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 oy. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam Shalom. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Good Shabbos, everybody. I'd like to invite up Lillian's parents and siblings and any other family members who can make the steps. Come on up. And for everybody else, if you want to join us in Kiddush with a beverage, we've got little cups of wine and juice back there, and feel free to help yourself and join in with us as we make Kiddush.
Let's take a few moments to show announcements.
Just make sure Lillian gets the big cup. You got the big cup? Okay, good. Oh, wait, I got one too.
So let's lift up our Kiddush cups together and join in. ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר יום השישי, ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. Together, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וצוונו ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת עם כל העמים ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת לחיים. Make sure to grab a Kiddush cup on your way out.
All right, those at home who wish to wash, wash as you wish, and I'll make a Netilat Yadayim on behalf of everybody here. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim.
Amen. And we're going back to Lillian as she holds up. Wow, she really is holding up the challah. And together with the whole family, let's join together in Hamotzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom. Lillian, take a piece of challah and fulfill the mitzvah and just go ahead. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Good Shabbos, everybody, and thank you once again for joining us here at PJTC. It looks like we got some good treats in the back, and we encourage you to all join us again tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. as we continue this celebration. Is it a good one? Oh, good, we're still live streaming.
I wanna rock and roll.